In the ancient Near East, the soil beneath your feet dictated exactly who you were. Land was never treated as a casual commodity. It was the absolute foundation of a family's survival, their tribal identity, and their total earthly wealth. When ancient Israel settled the region of Canaan, 11 of their 12 tribes were handed exactly that. They secured sovereign borders, massive agricultural fields, and generational security built on actual dirt. But there was a glaring anomaly in the system. The Levites received zero sovereign territory. Instead of unified borders, they were relegated to fragmented settlements clinging to the rocky terrain of other tribes. The exact blueprint of this deliberate landlessness is documented right here in the exhaustive historical and genealogical record of 1 Chronicles Chapter 6. It creates a strange historical paradox. The single tribe positioned closest to the divine presence was intentionally denied the earthly security that every other tribe spent their entire lives accumulating. This vertical timeline maps exactly how God structured their society. It shows the unbroken high priestly lineage, tracing a precise descent from ancient Kohath down to Jehozadak. That continuous redemptive line hit a historical wall during the Babylonian exile, a period defined by utter catastrophe and forced removal. This exile came as the direct consequence of the nation's deep accumulated sins, culminating in the violent destruction of the temple itself. Yet the genealogical record proves something remarkable. Even amid national collapse, this specific priestly bloodline survived. God sovereignly preserved his redemptive plan despite massive human failure. This meticulous preservation meant the office of the high priest survived the collapse of the kingdom. It maintained the necessary continuity for the story to eventually culminate in Jesus, who fulfills the priestly requirements established in these very records. Alongside this specific lineage, the text details an incredibly precise division of spiritual labor. Men like Heman, Asas, and Ethan were appointed as musicians, tasked with leading day and night unceasing musical worship. This endless musical performance mirrored a celestial reality. The earthly choir directly reflected the heavenly host of angels, constantly guarding and praising God's glory. While the musicians sang in the background, the descendants of Aaron managed the daily sacrifices and atonement rituals. These specific duties served as a physical shadow pointing forward to Christ, offering himself as the final, perfect sacrifice. Every Levite held a specific calling, without a hierarchy of worth. Whether singing on the front lines, performed priestly duties, or managed the backstage logistics, they carried equal value in the system. This map of ancient Israel shows how God geographically organized those duties. Rather than centralizing them in one massive complex, 48 distinct cities light up here, intentionally fragmenting the Levites evenly across all other tribal territories. 6 of these functioned as cities of refuge. By embedding the Levites directly with secular populations, God created a decentralized network of truth and physical sanctuary right where the people lived. This decentralized strategy serves as a historical precursor to the mission of the church. The Levites weren't an isolated enclave, they were a distributed network, much like the modern call for believers to exist as salt and light in the middle of a secular world. Within this exhaustive record of what the Levites lacked, we find the reason for the deficit. They were denied earthly territory because God declared that He Himself was their inheritance. Compare that to the modern obsession of accumulating assets, securing real estate, and chasing earthly titles. We live under the constant pressure of endless ambition. That pressure takes a heavy psychological toll. When believers measure their lives against those secular standards, it is incredibly easy to feel inadequate or left behind. The Levite reality forces a total shift in perspective. Being chosen by the Creator to stand before Him in service is life's supreme honor. The earthly territory the other tribes fought for pales in comparison to that proximity. At the end of their lives, people rarely regret missing earthly wealth. The deepest regret is almost always failing to serve God more intentionally. We have to stop fixating on the physical assets we think we lack and turn our attention to the eternal reward waiting for those who serve faithfully. You are called to act as a modern Levite city right now. You can be a localized base of truth and worship directly inside your current workplace, your family, and your neighborhood. The mechanism for doing this requires staying intimately connected to Christ. Just as a branch must firmly attach to the vine to bear fruit, we have to remain rooted in His presence. Missing out on the world's version of success is not a defeat. Possessing the presence of God is the ultimate inheritance and the only victory that lasts forever.